Chapter 63 of Married Thrice to Salted Fish. After Lin Rushan was reinstated, serving by the emperor's side was handed over to him. Thank you, Father Lin. Lin Qingyu finally didn't have to look at the emperor's face, so similar to Shao Cheng's, every day. Father Lin's medical skills were superior to Lin Qingyu's. With his wonderful hands, the emperor's condition got better day by day. Although he had yet to recover, the frequency of his headaches had decreased, and as long as he didn't get sick, he could go about like most ordinary people. In the Eastern Palace, Shao Cheng's injury seemed to be getting better. However, that sword wound damaged his very core, and no amount of recuperating would return him to his past condition. The day to day consumption of medicines made his already not so good temperament even more violent and volatile. The Tianji camp had long lost any clue of Shen Haoshi's whereabouts, and Shao Cheng couldn't bring himself to care about anything else. The emperor, in consideration for him having met such a devastating setback, was indulgent of his various disagreeable behaviors. However, he still sent Shu Ying to deliver reminders to the crown prince. It had very little effect. How could someone as arrogant and conceited as Shao Cheng endure being turned into a medicine jar? What made him even more resentful was that it was Shen Haoshi who had grown up with him who made him like this. How much had he schemed, how many people he killed to get to where he was today, only to fall to a shadow god? How could he possibly be reconciled? He would never give up until he brings Shen Haoshi back to him to slaughter. In the emperor's sleeping chamber, Lin Rushan had just finished performing acupuncture for the emperor. The emperor's body was relieved, but his heart was discontent. Although Lin Qingyu and Lin Rushan were father and son, their appearances were not very similar. Lin Rushan was just an average handsome man, but Lin Qingyu's radiance and beauty was a true rarity. If it weren't for the inauspiciousness of a male wife, he would not have replaced him. When Lin Rushan was about to withdraw, the emperor asked casually, "What has Lin Qingyu been doing recently?" Lin Rushan's face changed slightly and he said, "My son has been in the Imperial Hospital for the past few days, dispensing medicine for His Majesty." The emperor hesitated. Thoughts of inauspiciousness weighed on his heart. He waved his hand. "Forget it. You may withdraw." Lin Rushan returned to his residence with his worries on mind. Then he saw a majestic Fergana horse standing by the entrance of the Lin residence. He recognized this horse. This was Gu Fuzhao's steed, only that it was a lot fatter than it was in the past. He hurriedly entered the residence and asked the housekeeper, "Did General Gu come visit?" The housekeeper, a strange expression on his face, said, "Yes, the general is inside drinking tea with the madam and the eldest young master." Lin Rushan said, "Qingyu has returned as well?" Perfect timing. He wanted to remind him to be careful of the emperor. When he reached the courtyard, Lin Rushan realized that it wasn't only the two of them who had come. There were a lot of new faces in the yard. All of them must be from the general's mansion. Yan Yan of the general's mansion was instructing them to bring in mahogany boxes one after the other. The mahogany boxes were tied with festive red silk, like they would be if they were being used to propose marriage. The point was, the Lin Qingyu's residence has no daughters. Lin Rushan walked into the main hall, mind full of doubts, only to see that his wife's face was even more complicated than that of the housekeepers. Seeing him come back, Mother Lin, as though having been relieved of a great burden, seemed to locate her backbone. Master. Lin Rushan first saluted Gu Fuzhao, who quickly helped him back up. He asked, General, this is. Gu Fuzhao smiled and said, Adoptive father, I'm here on my behalf to propose a marriage. Lin Rushan and his wife looked at each other. Dare I ask the general to whom you're here to propose marriage? Lin Qingyu said, Me. Compared to Gu Fuzhao coming to propose marriage, what shocked Father Lin and Mother Lin was that the attitude of their eldest son. Last time, when the Nanan House mansion came to propose a marriage, Lin Qingyi viewed being a male wife as an utter disgrace and almost found death preferable. However, in the end, he had to obey, unable to go against the imperial decree. Why was he so calmly agreeing this time? Gu Fuzhao patiently explained to the two. The emperor intends to bestow a marriage upon me. The candidate he has chosen for me is either his own daughter or one of the daughters of those civil servants. In my view, none of those girls can be trusted. Keeping any of them by my side would be akin to raising a tiger. Therefore, I wish to settle my marriage before the emperor's decree arrives. Mother Lin still couldn't understand. The general is wise, divine, and mighty, a peerless hero. There must be many women who truly admire the general. The general could choose an admirable lady from any of the military families. Why would you insist on marrying my family's Qingyu? Facing with this question, Gu Fuzhao looked at Lin Qingyu for help. Lin Qingyu didn't want to worry his parents, and so he hadn't told them about his situation in the palace. At this moment, he simply said, The Lin residence has been under the protection of the general. Marrying the general, the advantages would outweigh the disadvantages for me and for the Lin residents. Mother Lin didn't understand this. She still remembered the humiliation her son suffered the first time he was made to be a male wife. She looked to her husband. Master. Lin Rushan, who was silent for a long time, said, I understand. His eldest son did this not only to help General Gu, but also to avoid disaster for himself. The emperor has already begun to have such thoughts about Qingyu. Maybe one day another imperial decree would come down, ordering him to enter the harem as an attendant. By then, it would be too late to think of a way out. Lin Qingyu had once been a male wife. Finding a girl for a well-matched family, even if someone were to be willing, he himself could not agree. It would be better for the two to get together in this way and take care of each other in the future. Since you two have already considered this matter, we will not object, Lin Rushan said. Only that I'm afraid His Majesty might not agree to this so easily. Gu Fuzhao smiled and said, Don't worry, father-in-law, just leave this matter to me. Wow, how quickly he became father-in-law. He called him father-in-law so quickly. I'm sorry, I did not read the next line. He called him father-in-law so quickly and with such practiced ease that it shocked everyone except Lin Qingyu. Seeing that the men were going to settle the matter like this, Mother Lin couldn't help but say, But it hasn't been a year since young master have passed away. Her husband wasn't sensitive enough, and he might not have been able to see it. After Lu Wancheng left, Lin Qingyu remained calm and unruffled on the surface. He shed not even a single tear for Lu Wancheng. He has been like this since he was a child. His emotions were not so easily exposed. Only she, as his mother, knew that Qingyu had felt more distressed than anyone. Gu Fuzhao said, "Is mother-in-law worried about rumors?" Mother Lin hesitated. "It's not just this." Lin Qingyu knew what his mother meant. "Don't worry, mother," Lin Qingyu whispered. "I have long forgotten young Master Hao. Who is Lu Wancheng, and what does he have to do with me?" Gu Fuzhao, ... With Lin Qingyu having said so, Mother Lin had nothing left to say. The rings had been given, and with the acquiescence of Lin Qingyu's family, Gu Fuzhao entered the palace immediately without delay. Lin Qingyu was going to accompany his parents for dinner at home before leaving. Lin Qinghe took the opportunity to stick to his brother and asked, "Gege, do you really want to marry General Gu?" He had not been allowed to listen in on the adults' discussion, but he still learned of this matter from his Momo. Lin Qingyu nodded. "Yes." "But the general, he's too old," Lin Qingyu said, feeling aggravated for his brother. "He's 12 years older than Gege." Lin Qingyu smiled. "He's not that old." In terms of actual age, Gu Fuzhao was even a year younger than him. Lin Qinghe begged, "Gege, can't you find another husband like Wanchenge?" Lin Qingyu told his younger brother that if he did not marry the general, who was 12 years older, he might be taken as a male concubine by an old man 40 years older. Lin Qinghe then reluctantly agreed to the marriage. Meanwhile, Gu Fuzhao met the emperor in Xincheng Hall. The emperor's complexion had improved by more than a little. It probably won't be long before he appears in morning court. "Ai Cheng has come just in time," the emperor said. "Have a look at Zhao Mingwei's urgent report from Yongliang." Zhao Mingwei said in his urgent report that Shixia, after several months of recuperation, had returned in a swirl of dust, and that the momentum of their return was strong. They have successfully captured 3 small cities of the Dayu. After several defeats, morale in the army was unstable. General Gu was urgently needed back at Yongliang to preside over the overall situation. Gu Fuzhao remained calm, but thousands of horses were galloping in his heart. He had no misconceptions on just how much of an influence he could have over the overall situation. Winning streaks depend on luck, and they were bound to be followed by a losing streak. Quitting while he was ahead kept his win rate high. Zhao Mingwei had engaged in hundreds of battles. His win rate was maybe only 60%, but it was much more secure than his 100% win rate in just 5 battles. The emperor once again said, "I told you before that you may have entered the capital alone, but I wish to see you leave the capital as one of a pair. The day before yesterday, because of the crown prince's sudden illness, the matter of your marriage was delayed. Now it cannot be delayed any longer. You should settle matters of your home first. That way, there would be no need for you to worry while you are in Yongliang. The Empress has introduced you to many noble ladies. Do you have a favorite candidate in your heart?" Gu Fuzhao closed the memorial and said, "Speaking of this matter, I have gone to National Teacher Zhu and asked for a divination regarding my marriage." Oh, the emperor had always respected the enigmatic national teacher. What did he say? The national teacher said that this minister should take a male wife, a man born on the 11th day of the 3rd month of the year of Guwei. Only in this way might I have divine help on the battlefield. A male wife? The emperor frowned. Did the national teacher really say that? Indeed, Your Majesty had once made an exception to allow the late young Master Hao to marry a male wife. I hope His Majesty will make another exception for this minister. The Emperor said, Do you know there is talk about the inauspiciousness of a male wife? The national teacher said the auspiciousness and ominousness depend on the person. A male wife might be ominous to others, but to this minister it is an auspicious sign. Given the president, it was not so easy for the emperor to refuse, and so he said, Have you found the man with the matching 8 characters? I have. By coincidence, my adopted brother, the imperial physician Lin Qingyu, was born on the 11th day of the 3rd month in the year of Gu Wei. The emperor suddenly rose to his feet. Lin Qingyu? You mean Lin Qingyu? He got up too suddenly and his body was not in good shape. It was inevitable that he would be a little unsteady on his feet. Shu Ying hurriedly stepped forward to help. Your Majesty, please look after your body. The emperor realized his loss of control and said, Lin Qingyu is an extraordinary talent in the imperial hospital. My continued health is dependent on him. How could he possibly marry you? Gu Fuzhao said, This presents no conflict, since Imperial Physician Lin is a man who has already entered office. He shall continue to perform his duties in the future, just as he has done so in the past. This minister has no need for him to serve as madam of the household. Ridiculous! The emperor slammed his hand on the table. How could I allow a male wife to hold a 5th rank official position, mingling with the civil and military officials in the palace? Gu Fuzhao's tone became a little colder. Imperial Physician Lin used to be a male wife. Despite this, Your Majesty still gave him an official position. Imperial Physician Lin came up with the cure for the epidemic and the medicine for Your Majesty's headaches. It is in consideration for the Emperor's health that this minister is willing to allow my wife to continue serving in the palace. The Emperor said coldly, I have yet to agree, and you already call him wife? Gu Fuzhao raised the corner of his lips slightly. As Your Majesty has said, I should settle matters of home first. That way, there would be no need for me to worry while I'm in Yongliang. Gu Fuzhao knelt down and saluted. I ask that the Emperor grant this permission. Hearing the threat in Gu Fuzhao's words, the Emperor grew furious, and a fierce headache bore down upon him. Unable to attend to anything else, he cradled his head and said impatiently, Relay my word to Lin Rushan. News that Lin Qingyu was going to remarry Gu Fuzhao spread like wildfire. After a lapse of more than a year, the Lin residence has once again become a talking point for after-dinner gossip among the capital's rich and powerful families. It might be more accurate to say that the Lin residence hadn't stopped being the subject of rumors since the day Lin Qingyu married Lu Wancheng. There were many rumors about Lin Qingyu in the imperial hospital. Several times, Hu Ji wanted to ask Lin Qingyu what was going on, but seeing the other party carry on like it was nothing, he swallowed the words once again. Lin Qingyu hated people who talked too much. If you wanted to make friends with him, you needed to know what to and what not to say. On this day, when Hu Ji came back from a doctor's visit, he caught sight of several censors walking together, talking about Lin Qingyu's remarriage. Although there is a precedent for a male wife, the precedent proved unsightly. How could General Gu ask to marry a widowed male wife? I simply don't understand it. I heard that he asked the national teacher for a divination and that the national teacher said that Lin Qingyu could prosper him. Nonsense! Gu Fuzhao must have been bewitched by Lin Qingyu's beauty, so he asked the national teacher to endorse him. With how much he indulges in homosexuality, would he not fall prey to a honey trap by the enemy? Ah, these censors. We need to get rid of these people soon. In my opinion, it must have been Lin Qingyu who took the initiative to seduce him. Lin Qingyu, instead of doing his duty to remain a widow for his late husband, insists on going about being an imperial physician head uncovered. I wouldn't be surprised by anything he does. It's a pity that he has sullied General Gu's good name. Kind of infuriates me because it is a pretty common and a daily instance for a woman. She can't enter imperial, hospital as a doctor, and if she is a widow, or like if her husband, if she could be forced into a marriage that she does not like, and threaten her entire family if she is not willing to go through that marriage. Even if she tries to kill herself, they will kill her family, then marry the dude and take care of him, and he dies. Obviously the guy is already freaking so sick, and he dies, and you have to live your life as a widow stuck in a home thinking about your husband you didn't even want to marry. And what happened to all the skills? These fucking patriotic bitches. Huji could not stand hearing these words, but given his standing, he didn't have the qualifications to come forward and stop them. He was about to take a detour when he heard a voice behind him. I say. He and the censors looked back together. They saw Gu Fuzhao dressed in a first-rank military uniform, 2 flying eagles embroidered on it. Tall and lofty in stature, a stern expression on his face, he stood in front of the group of officials. It was no exaggeration to say that he looked the very picture of a crane towering over chickens. That is enough, Gu Fuzhao said slowly. Whose person do you think you're talking about? Gu Fuzhao's voice was unusually calm, but the faintly discernible murderous desire made everyone present feel a sense of oppression. The censors exchanged glances and saluted him together. This official greets General Gu. Yang Geng dared to say, "We are all censors personally appointed by the Emperor. As censors, it is our duty to strictly uphold discipline and carry out our responsibility to supervise. What we have caught wind of, we must report. Imperial Physician Lin has behaved improperly and acted shamelessly. For what reason should we not talk about it?" Gu Fuzhao's eyes swept across the crowd one by one. You listen carefully. It was I who asked the Emperor for permission to marry Imperial Physician Lin. Imperial Physician Lin was reluctant in every possible way and had no choice but to acquiesce because of my power. If you want to scold, then scold, Yang Gang said angrily. The general is being so overbearing. Does the general intend to exchange blows with me? Can't I? As soon as Gu Fuzhao's voice fell, the officials all exploded into an uproar. Of course not. This is the Imperial Palace, not the Northwest battlefield, nor is this the general's military camp. Gu Fuzhao smiled. Do you think I have never fought in any other places, save for the battlefield or the military camp? Yang Geng went red in the face. Does the general have no respect for the emperor? Seeing that the situation was turning serious, Huji, afraid that Lin Qingyu would be implicated, rushed forward and said, General, Gu Fuzhao naturally remembered this imperial doctor who was closely related to the Lin family. Is something wrong? General, calm down. After all, this is a palace. If it reaches the emperor's ears and imperial physician Lin is blamed, then Gu Fuzhao was uninterested. Get lost. Gu Fuzhao had to head for Chencheng Hall to discuss the war in the northwest with the ministers and did not stay much longer. Hu Ji returned to the imperial hospital and seeing Lin Qingyu looking at some medical records, he couldn't help but approach and leaned over. General Gu, Hu Ji shuddered, is a bit scary. Lin Qingyu was a little surprised. Why do you think so? Hu Ji told Lin Qingyu what he had seen and heard just now. It's no wonder. How many souls has General Gu claimed with his Qingyan Jishao spear? Only a god of war of the northwest like him could have overwhelmed those sensors into silence with just his aura alone. However, I had always taken General Gu to be a restrained and gentle warrior. I never expected he would pick fights outside the battlefield. Lin Qingyu couldn't help but smile when he heard these words. It seemed there was a side to his once and future husband that he had not seen. The window lid open and a gust of wind blew through, bringing a slight chill. Lin Qingyu said, is it not getting colder? Hu Ji said, indeed, winter is almost upon us. Lin Qingyu let out an unwarranted sigh. So quickly. The story of winter was about to begin once again.